Gloria. What's up, chat? How are we doing today? I have been grinding as usual. I remember seeing a news story about Japanese woman cooming over a handsome gorilla years ago. I wonder how many people want sex with Donkey Kong. I mean, at least one. Isn't that what Pauline is in the first place? The dark secret about all the Mario games is that the princess needing rescue from Mario was never a real thing. They were all choosing to go with Bowser or Donkey Kong or whatever. Average female. So are you guys playing... Is Donkey Kong Bonanza out? Donkey Kong. Let's see the IGN review. The most trusted source in all video games, IGN.
So, I hear you want a new 3D Mario. If that means you're looking for a console-defining platformer with satisfyingly expressive movement, innovative mechanics that constantly evolve, and expertly crafted challenges that unleash the interactive potential between the two...
You know what? I hate it. I've seen it for about 10 seconds now and I already fucking hate it.
Bonanza is no mere side project.
I hate the colors.
Mario Odyssey. It's a brilliant successor.
It has the same color issues I had with the reason why I never played WoW. Also, I hate the new face. I know this makes me sound like fucking Chris Chan spurging out about the color of Sonic's arms and how they have to be skin colored instead of blue. But I fucking hate the Donkey Kong face, the new face. I absolutely despise the remake. And I hate the graphics.
It tells a light but sweet story about DK and his spirited sidekick Pauline pursuing an underground legend that will allegedly grant them one wish. Pauline hopes to return home, while DK just wants more bananas. The deeper the pair dives toward the planet core, the deeper the gameplay becomes. Nintendo builds each new 3D Mario around one big idea, like Sunshine's Water Pack or Odyssey's Captures. Mario is nowhere to be seen here, but in that same tradition, Bonanza's fully destructible environments suit a hulking, rampaging...
This is definitely not a reason for me to buy a Switch, I can say that for sure. Wired mouse and keyboard was fucking foolish. I should have just got wireless again. If you're a true gamer, everything has to be wired, so when you're at your epic LAN tournament, the signals won't interfere with each other or some shit. I don't fucking know. I still use wired headphones when I'm at home. I only have wireless Bluetooth headphones when I'm at the gym. If you're not doing some weird shit with your wrist, I'm sure that the wired mouse is just fine. Most beautiful Nintendo game since Xenoblade drops and Ball hates it. It's over. It's just so weird, especially like the black part in Donkey Kong's eyes. I don't know, man. It doesn't feel right. Donkey Kong, new face versus old. Oh yeah, it's so weird. It feels like the Pixarification of everything. It reminds me of just like modern Pixar and like the modern corporate. It's like those compilation images of how like you really like Pizza Hut and Taco Bell in the 90s. And then they decided to create the clean-ass corporate style. It's not like even cleaner in any objective way, but it feels like that somehow. Like the soul versus soulless meme is real, guys. I don't know. It just looks fucked up. Honestly, I can understand why they changed Sonic's arms to be blue. I know Chris Chan will be angry at me for saying this, but the Donkey Kong face I can't really forgive. New looks more monkeyish to me. I don't know, man. It just, it rubs me the wrong way. Not that I was ever going to give Nintendo any money in the first place, so it's irrelevant. And every Nintendo consumer is just going to suck Nintendo's cock no matter what they do, so I guess they don't have to worry about whatever redesigns, but... But I fucking hate the colors in the Bonanza game as well. I hate these hyper-saturated colors. It's one of the main reasons why I didn't play WoW. And Bonanza is full of them. I fucking hate OLED displays as well. I don't want like super vibrant displays, they hurt my eyes. Is this just like the autism talking, you think? It seems like this is an episode of Autism Speaks right here. All the shit I'm hearing myself say is like, the sand is too hot, the lights are too bright, too many people are speaking at the same time. I sound like one of those little autism kids who is like covering their ears and crumpled in the corner because all the sensations are too painful for them. But that's how OLED displays and like ultra HD colors and like saturated colors and shit make me feel. I don't want that level of stimulation, especially if I'm gonna look at a screen for hours at a time. It's just unpleasant. Saturated colors are okay if you're trying to mark a exit or something, or a stop sign. But if you want to use saturated colors in a video game that people have to stare at for hours and hours and hours, you can count me out on that shit. They're in the abyss from Made in Abyss. So does that mean it's a one-way journey? If they try and exit the abyss, are their head's gonna fucking explode or something? We need more Berserk crossover content that's faithful to the original manga. In other words, the Berserk Fortnite crossover in which if you lose, you'll be branded and you'll be raped by 10,000 demons until you die. That would be sweet. That's the kind of dark fantasy content I require in my video games. They will be executed by King K. Rool via firing squad or something. King K. Rool did nothing wrong. The alligators have rightful claim over Donkey Kong Country. He was only trying to liberate the apes from their bananas. I don't think we'll ever get the 90s Berserk anime quality. We could. Just need Netflix to step up. That was a joke, by the way. AI prompters will be like, it will only be possible when AI becomes powerful enough. I'm currently creating a mute Laura right now. Soon all animators will be out of a job. In coming months, a live-action Berserk gets made by Netflix. I can't tell if you're being like, that would be funny, haha, imagine if that happened, or that's actually in the works, because I don't follow any Netflix shit, and that's exactly the type of shit that Netflix would do. And we'd be like, yes, the director for the new Berserk live-action adaptation is this acclaimed Hollywood writer who has some interesting personal opinions on how to fix Berserk and modernize it so it's relevant for modern audiences. First, the new Berserk is set in 1980s America Guts, who is a young man struggling with his sexuality. Meets a brown girl. They'll keep the brown girl, of course. But she will be changed to a sassy black woman. They'll be like, just according to the original, Casca is cast by a woman of color. Played by Deborah Wilson, of course. You got One Piece and Cowboy Bebop live action already. Surely Netflix has learned their lesson by now. I mean, I guess they wouldn't learn their lesson from One Piece because a lot of people said One Piece live action was good, or at least good enough. I just feel like the standards for Netflix live action has become so low that anything that isn't absolute horseshit, people are like, oh, it's good. There's zero reason to do any kind of live action One Piece content considering it's the most cartoony cartoon shit. And nothing good comes from doing live action content of that stuff, but whatever. We'll just not think about that. Can Xana be cast as a sassy white woman with tan? Xana is the local Karen at the fitness club. Complaining about whether the yoga pants... how the yoga pants don't make her ass look flat enough or something. I don't know. She also likes romance novels, so... she's definitely white woman coded. No wonder she's so interested in humans. Honestly, if they were going to make a live-action adaptation of this, the only character I would have notes on would be Grok. And I'd be like, the dwarf isn't hairy enough. If you don't allow me to choose the correct dwarf cast, I'm not going to sell you the rights. The person playing the dwarf must be 4'8" and 350 pounds of pure muscle. He needs to start, the actor has to start bulking right now. Danny DeVito on $10,000 worth of anabolic steroids every single month. We already have live action Berserk, Flesh and Blood, and Excalibur. I feel like it's not Berserk if there isn't like a million details on every single thing and a shit ton of cross-hatching. If the author didn't permanently ruin his health by sitting in front of a desk all day and cross-hatching non-stop until he gets sick, then it doesn't count as a proper Berserk adaptation. God, being a dwarf must be so cool. Every day you just mine shit. And you drink alcohol and you use your hammer. I wish I was a dwarf. They're the best. The pro-dwarf propaganda stream. So how is everyone doing? I'm happy because I'm almost halfway through summer, I guess. I can't wait for summer to be fucking over. But I just need to stay and hang in it. Hang in there and eventually it'll be gone. Just need to stay strong. When it starts to get cool, and I feel that cool fall air, I'm like, it's gaming time. I can finally game in peace. It brings back memories of gaming in the autumn. I feel the same way about winter and spring as well. Just gamer things. Nostalgic memories of coming home from school and playing N64. Actually, I wasn't allowed to play video games on the weekdays because on the weekdays I was at my mother's house and my mother did not allow me to have access to video games because she thought it would make me stupid. But then I was allowed to play games at my father's house on the weekends, so... October, best month. Sitting in a room without needing air conditioner or heater. I know, right? Also, I like walking around my neighborhood and seeing all the kids trick-or-treating and shit. I don't actually do anything to them, FBI-san, don't worry. It brings back nostalgic memories of when I was also a child and had fun and innocence. After the next chapter, I'm definitely going to change all the costumes of all the characters so that there's a different black and white balance. I didn't really think about the darkness and gray and black balance strategically when I started designing the costumes, and I can't really change them because right now because they're in the middle of a sequence, but there's going to be a short time jump ahead after this chapter, so I can like refurbish all of the costumes so I don't have to think as hard about how I'm gonna balance all the darks and stuff. But for now, I must do stuff by adding shading or shit. I don't know. Just moved to northernmost Hokkaido. Hokkaido is being reclaimed by the bears. Also, it has all these weird murders and shit that doesn't happen in other Japanese areas. So I'm thinking instead of living in Hokkaido, I'll live in just the northernmost parts of the main island, which would be Aomori and stuff like that. Also, if I live in a higher altitude location, that makes it chillier. I don't know, like Nagano Prefecture or something. I don't know. If I live in an inland location on the main island away from the ocean at a high altitude, that should lower the temperature a bit and also reduce the risk of me dying in a tsunami. It won't help me dying from like an earthquake, but at least I won't have to worry about a tsunami if I'm in an inland area. Besides all the benefits that Japan has as a country to live in, it has a huge drawback, which is you can get fucked by natural disasters no matter what part of the country you're living in, and that can happen at any point. Terrifying. People have been preparing for a massive giga earthquake that's supposed to happen like every 100 years or so, and it hasn't happened in like 150 years. So everyone's like, it's gonna fucking happen anytime, and they've been saying that for the last like 30 years. So I don't really know how to think about that, but I hope it happens when I'm not there. Meanwhile, I live in a part of America that has very few natural disasters. However, if you're living in America, there is always the possibility of getting shot under any circumstance, so that's sort of America's Keikona clap natural disaster right there. It'll happen when life seems most stable. Well, life doesn't seem very stable right now for anybody, so that means that it won't happen. I don't think that's how shit works, but whatever. It will happen when the Earth feels like moving. That's when it will happen. I'm currently staring at the PNG format of this image on my second screen, trying to figure out the black and white balance and stuff, and how much extra details I need to add. Seems okay. Japan, California, dual destinies. California is small time compared to the overwhelming power level of Japan. California ain't got shit on Japan. Average Japanese person doesn't even freak out if there's even there's like a standard earthquake. They're just like, it's only a magnitude 5, ignore it. What brush do you use? I've been using a shit ton of brushes. My subtool area, I've moved crayon, charcoal, some of the oil brushes over. I have a custom brush that I created myself by fucking around with different settings of different brushes. If you're looking up for one default brush that everybody uses, you should use the Real G Pen. This is what everybody uses, and I use it for a lot of stuff. When I have difficulty drawing something and I just can't seem to get it to look right, I always go to Real G Pen as the default, because it always seems to like give me an adequate response. But I don't use it for everything. Like, I've created a pen specifically for drawing hair. Sometimes I pull out the charcoal when I want to do, like, this area is charcoal. Strongest California earthquake versus weakest Japanese civilization ending tsunami. Yeah, man. I was in Sendai the last time I went to Japan, and they had like markers for where the tsunami went and stuff like that. And it went super far inland. I don't particularly like seafood and stuff, so there's not many benefits to me living next to the ocean. So I plan to live pretty far away from the ocean if possible. Being next to the ocean is also bad from a typhoon perspective as well, so... Also, I don't want to be next to the ocean when the eldritch monsters come out of the sea to reclaim humanity. You know, when Lovecraftian shit happens. You can barely feel 3 to 5 earthquakes. The Tohoku earthquake, on the other hand, shake the crap out of me from over 100 miles away. Yeah, Japanese people don't respond to, like, anything below, like, a 6. 5, stuff is just, like, you know, shaking a little bit. And then you look on TV and you try and figure out if it was what the magnitude was, and if it was just, like, far away and stuff like that. What if I fiddle with the Real G Pen and make the taper... I've noticed that the taper is super important, this thing, correction taper. When you're drawing these long, stretchy lines, the feel of how it feels. So I created my custom pen specifically so I could have a long taper brush for these kinds of focused lines and stuff like that. But maybe I should increase the taper for the G Pen as well. the standard is very short taper. Maybe we put it at real G pen. What's the default taper? Reset to default. Yes. Okay, the default is 2. Wait, increase it to 3. Nah, 2 is fine. 2 is the default for most pens. I think I had it on 1 by mistake or something. Is that mountain climber in the video being attacked by a mother bear? Everybody's getting killed by bears in Japan right now. The bears aren't fucking around anymore. They want their fried chicken leftovers, and they're coming down to get it. So if you're climbing mountains in Japan, you're really asking for it. In general, mountain climbing is a pretty stupid hobby. You're like, you know, it'd be really cool if I go to a place where a shit ton of different things can happen and go wrong and I can just die. That sounds like a really good idea. And then you're like, they're like, why do you want to do this? It's like, because the mountain's there, bros. At least most of the people going to the ocean are like, I go to the ocean because I have to overfish 10 million tons of tuna and make a living. But people who go to the mountain are just like, yeah, I just go in because I want to, you know? How many stylists does BB use per year? I used to use like way more, but I was keeping my semi-used stylist tips around. I was forcing myself to change my stylist tips more frequently because I figured like I had the money to keep on using them, and then they increased the price of stylist tips and I was like, fuck this. And then I came to the very obvious idea that I should have thought of earlier, that I can just continue to use the same stylus if I just file down the tip a little bit and straighten it out. So the reason that I was changing my styluses was because I hold my pen at a slight angle. After a while it would kind of shave the tip of the stylus down to a really sharp point, like a diagonal point, which would make it very hard to draw on, and then I would change my stylus tip. And I was forcing myself to change it more often so I would have optimal stylus. But then I was like, wait a second, if I have this weird tip situation, I can just take a file and adjust the tip shape, and then I can keep on using my old stylus tips. So I was smart enough not to throw away all my old stylus tips. There was a part of me that was afraid that they would stop selling the stylus replacements. So I was like, I should just keep all these like half-used stylus tips just in case something goes wrong with the supply chain. And that didn't happen, but they increased the price. XP Pen increased the price, so it's like double the price now. But then I was like, wait, I can just file it down. So now my styluses last way longer. I probably only replace them like every 2 weeks or so. The speed at which my styluses started to deteriorate got way faster once I started putting a piece of copy sheet paper on my pen tablet, because it increases the friction, so the stylus it grinds down much quicker. But obviously that's the drawback of having more friction and having more grip. Anyways, XP Pen stylus tips, even after doubling the price, aren't that expensive. You get like, I don't know, 25, 30 for like 10 bucks or something, I can't remember, but they used to be like 1/5 the price of Wacom tips, but now they're only like half the price or something of Wacom tips, but still very affordable. Oh. Oh. So much grinding, and yet so little to show. I feel like I'm currently peaking on the pages I draw take more time to draw them cycle of getting better at finished manga pages, and now it's going to start to get faster. Up until this point, I've sort of been building up quality and the amount of details I was trying to cram in each page, and now I can finally like start to do subtraction going forward. I'll need to draw maybe about 200 more pages, I think, and I'll be good. Poor childhood friend. I don't know the context. I already feel sorry for her. The childhood friend must suffer. Also, everybody is rooting for the childhood friend, as is always the case. It's weird how I feel like there's an overwhelming amount of childhood friend support whenever you read comments online. So you'd think that authors would actually get the childhood friend to win at some point, but they have difficulty figuring that out. I feel like because if the childhood friend actually does win, it's sort of like a denial of progress. The childhood friend represents maintaining the status quo, so it kind of goes against the core experience of a plot in which the main character is supposed to be a different person and end up in a different location after the story is completed. The childhood friend kind of represents the comfort of what you already know. "35 out of 46. Let's go, boys." He's gonna finish before September. I'll definitely finish before September. I won't finish before August, though. There's a bunch of pages without backgrounds done yet that I'm gonna have to do off stream, so that's gonna take a bunch of time. Backgrounds suck balls, which is why we all need assistants to draw them for us. Imagine drawing backgrounds yourself instead of having your draw slave Getting paid 1,000 yen an hour to do it for you. I have Toriko panels in my reference section file of my computer, by the way, on how to draw backgrounds in terms of like how to add details and shit. BB doesn't have a hickey draw slave. Women owe me their labor in which they draw backgrounds for me. And I'm tired of pretending they don't. All women must bow down and sit in front of a desk and draw backgrounds 24 hours a day so we can finish this fucking manga at some point. I saw a hot goth woman walking near the city river today. You should walk up to her and say, excuse me, lady. I noticed that you look like a strong goth mommy. Will you, softly dominate me? She will find this very attractive, trust me. There's nothing women enjoy more than men with mommy issues. The city was a 2-hour drive away. We can't make it work. It's over. Not even the strongest love can survive a long-distance relationship of 2 hours. Distance decay is real. People would rather pay $30 than walk like 5 minutes. Ugh. I'm so glad I'm working digitally. There's so many little shit that I do and like redo because I feel like I made the wrong decision, especially all this like all this shit that I'm extra stuff like the effects stuff I'm doing after I draw the characters. Has Xana had any underworld clothing melt away in the sunlight yet? There will be a swimsuit episode coming in the near future, hopefully, maybe. I have been thinking there's not enough sexo going on in this manga right now. On average, a shonen manga must have 1 page of fan service for every page of serious storyline. That means the story of a shonen manga must always have ideas like, in order for the female character to power up, her clothing must tear and expose her boobs or something like that. That's only natural. You don't need to do those extra lines, I pardon you. You do. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. Beach, pool, onsen. The reason why the beach and the pool are superior and slightly more often used than the onsen is for 2 reasons. Reason 1 being, by having the girls wear swimsuits, not only do you fulfill the sexo, you also get to show how their personalities differ. So then you get to show how like one girl wears a sexy swimsuit and the other doesn't, or something like that. And then part 2 is, if you're in onsen, there's really no chance that there's gonna be these tan guys showing up inside the bathhouse in the women's bath being like, hey girls, let's go chill with us bros. And they'll be like, kya yamete kudasai. But if you're at the beach or the pool, you can have these, you know, poorly defined villain antagonists show up. So then the MC-kun can be like, hey, stop talking to them. They're my good friends or whatever. And they'll be like, Doki Doki, MC-kun protected me. You can't do that with the Hot Spring episode, of course. In Hot Spring, you can only do the perverted male friend of MC is like, hey, we have to peek on the other side of the wall, or they hear the girls talking to each other on the other side of the wall being, kya Madoka-chan, your skin is so smooth and your boobs are so big. No, Kyoko-chan, don't touch me. That's embarrassing, that shit. That's all you get. Which isn't really like, you know, character building situation, so... You can also have the onsen yukata scene in which they walk around in yukata, but that's about it. Man, chat is quiet today. I know I'm not talking as well, but maybe I should check how many people there are. "46 viewers. People, you need to say something in chat that I can respond to so I can say something in return. Or maybe not. They have to drink milk and then play ping pong before two of them walk around town at night having the serious relationship conversation. That's true. Onsen episode is when they have to settle shit up between the girls. No eyeing. That's for me to do. Only I'm allowed to lurking and drawing. True. I expect a lot out of my chat. I hold my chat to a higher standard than what I hold to myself, which is showing up for the stream time of their favorite streamer, even though he streams at irregular fucking times. And then I require my chat to participate by typing stuff in the stream. Despite the fact that if you type something that I don't like, I will be angry and attack you. This is not a comfy stream, I guess. Chat not talking means you can focus more on your work. To be fair, I think I'm getting better at drawing on stream. I really do, actually. Like, I have less difficulty seeing... Like, a lot of drawing is just kind of looking at the image that you're working on and sort of understanding what you need to do next in order to sort of build its quality. And previously, I was having a lot of difficulty just kind of like seeing what I need to draw and like whether anatomy was fucked up, that type of stuff, when I was communicating with chat while streaming, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. I think everything's a skill now. I used to be like I'm never gonna get good at it, but I think I'm getting used to it. I was cleaning a kit and accidentally spilled the paint thinner. You fucked up, bro. What about a baseball chapter? God, I feel like baseball is so overdone in Japanese society right now. It's all Otani's fault. I read Jump Plus online, and there was a recent baseball. They have like 4 baseball manga, and like only 1 or 2 other sports. It's all fucking baseball. What was I doing right now? Right, I'm gonna make a selection layer. Select, convert to selection layer. Next we go like this. Bap, bap. Bop, bop. Paint bucket tool this shit. Yeah. Okay. I once knocked and spilled cement. Cement looks cool until you're reminded that it's like super hot because of like the chemical reaction needed to make it or some shit. I don't actually know. I live near a middle school and they recently redid the cement on the sidewalks, and of course some middle schooler found the drying cement and they successfully drew a penis in the sidewalk. They found the opportunity and captured it. So then the city probably had to pay construction workers to come back and like redo the fucking sidewalk because we can't have a penis engraved in the sidewalk for the next 30 years. Classic middle school move right there. Cement is not safe for skin. Maybe your skin, if you're a little pussy bitch. How about you toughen up a little instead of whining? Just fucking handle it. Who cares about the painful chemical burns? I guess they're not chemical burns. It's actually hot, right? Is it safe to touch cement while it is being made? I hope Grok gives me like a horrible answer. No. Touching wet cement can be hazardous and lead to concrete burns, also known as cement burns. Wet concrete has a high alkaline content with a pH level of 12 or higher. Chemical burns on the skin, which may result in severe pain, discoloration, blisters, swelling, and even deep burns requiring medical attention. Nice. We mean ketone cement for your Gunpla models. Why use such weird, unnatural chemicals when you can use your own natural binding formula cement, your white sticky semen content, just hot glue your Gunpla, your sexy, sexy Gundam, get it covered with hot, sticky white glue, and then just glue it into place. Easy. I think I've told this story before, but when I was like 14 or so, I had one of those daily peel the paperback type calendars, you know, where there's like a separate sheet of paper for every day. So when I would jack off, I would take that day's piece of paper and like sandwich it on top of the next piece of paper and put my cum in between the sheets of paper to see how if I could bind them together and see how many days worth of paper I could stick together with my dried cum. I got pretty far. I think I got a few hundred sheets of paper sort of clumped together in a solid mass. But in retrospect, you could probably do that with any kind of liquid like water and stuff. It didn't have to be cum. I don't think cum is actually that sticky. Based, I did that too yesterday. I'm old now, so, you know, I no longer find satisfaction in gluing together pieces of content with my semen anymore. That's a young man's game. I'm content to know that when I masturbated through that image of an anime girl, the power of my semen has traveled to her two-dimensional body in an alternate universe and impregnated her. We all know this has happened. That's just how these things work. I can't eat cement, not with that attitude. Twitch, don't ban me. I'm not telling my viewers that they need to eat cement. That would be stupid. Select. Invert? What? Oh, I have to, that's right. I have to change it to a selection. The selection layer is so weird. You have to first convert it to a selection layer. No, you have to convert it to a selection. Create a new fucking layer. Select, invert selected area. Turn off the previous selection layer. And now you can color this in. Wait, no. And then I have to select, convert this to a selection layer. God damn it. Fuck me. This is why I need to use the paneling tool, I believe. Of course, I can erase all of this like in 5 seconds, so it's not a big deal, but... Use the square select? No. I'm trying to... Then I would have to have 2 selections up at the same time. I don't know if I can do that. I'm trying to select only the inside of the elf. I want 2 selections, one for the outside part. Yeah, I just did invert selected area, but because I'm not using the manga paneling, which would separate each of the panels, it just goes for the entire fucking page, because you're supposed to use the manga paneling tool, but I haven't been doing that. But I think it's time for me to start using it, I guess. I'm spending too much time worrying about little things sticking out of the panel area. I liked it because it was more organic to do it by hand and do manually shit, and just like it felt more direct for a while. But now it's about time. Like it's time to use every single time saving tool available. So we'll do that for my next manga. We'll start using the manga tool. I don't like how it just feels inorganic, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like you're doing stuff on a full page. It feels like the page is chopped up, which it kind of literally is, you know? Hold on, I have to go take a piss. Ugh. It's hot, so I drink all this water, then I have to piss. Alright, I'll be back in 30 seconds. Ugh. I should just piss in a bottle for my nerd cred, you know? Ugh. Ugh. No piss bottles, have some standards. Maybe I do have standards. Maybe that's why I find piss bottles so awesome. You okay? No, I've been spending too much time drawing. I get exercise in on a daily basis, but I've been thinking, like, people really need to be walking around and doing shit instead of sitting in front of a screen drawing all day. Unfortunately, this is the life I've chosen. Sound like you piss blood? No, I only shit blood. Don't make it weird. Take this. Select. Convert selection layer to selection. Go to the next layer. Go to layer 8 billion. And now we get to start. Your true calling is ramming into people at the subway. Not gonna lie, I have strong incel energy. I dislike everybody in the subway. I find subways extremely stressful, thanks to my Asperger's superpowers. However, my solution to this is to just not go to the subway in the first place, so... I don't need to become a subway slammer. Again, Japanese problems are so minor. America is like, we've had our 5th mass shooting of the month. They're just gunning down our kids left and right. If only there was something we could do. Alas, we are powerless. We could never do anything about this. If only other countries... How do other countries solve this problem? Meanwhile, Japan is like, no, this one incel chud is walking around in the subway bumping into women. How will these women ever recover? Imagine the incredible physical damage these women have suffered by this 100-pound twink bumping his shoulder into them. I guess there's the alternate version where the chud is like a super fat guy, so he actually has some force behind his bumps, but even among the incel chuds, there's not many super fat guys in Japan. Switzerland solves the shooting problem by having a functioning high-trust society. It's almost as if every single person in the country shouldn't be allowed to own a gun without any kind of restrictions. Weird, huh? You know that America's behavior is set in stone when the Republicans won't even be like, maybe we should make gun ownership slightly more difficult, even when their dear leader, fucking Trump, almost gets his head blown off. There's literally no situation in which Americans are like, huh, maybe there's too many guns. What makes America great, boys. Although we haven't had our classic mass shootings in a while, to be honest. Probably partially because the news media doesn't really report on it as much anymore because it's become too fucking normal. It'll just be mass shooter number 5038, so depressed incel chuds no longer find it as a attractive way to waste their final moments of their life. You have to go through the background check and only for sports and hunting. So in Japan, you need to have, besides the background checks and shit, you also need to have like some kind of relationship with the hunting association or some shit. So there's like a whole social component to it. So in other words, you can't like become a radical incel living alone. You have to be checking in with your boomer overseers of your shitty boondock village, being like, you need to go shoot a bear so you can protect our lifestyle. We will pay you nothing, by the way. Can you draw Haru Urara winning a race? She did win a race. She won the race to our hearts. She's the greatest winner of all. She won the game of life or something. I don't fucking know. Dumbass bitch, slow ass horse. I could take Haru Urara in a race. I bet she's slow as fuck. I'll outrun her using my human running power. She won't know what hit her. I'll run a 5-minute mile. I think at my maximum peak fitness level, when I had nothing better to do after I graduated from college, except like workout, I was running like a 6-minute mile, which isn't bad if you consider I was never really on the track team and my genetics aren't very good, so that should be fast enough to outrun a horse if you ask me. What the fuck is a mile? It's like a stone. He's 12 stones heavy and 6 feet tall. What did you study grad college with? I assume you're asking what my bachelor degree was. I did not go to graduate school, but I graduated with like a Japanese studies degree, which means my college education was a fucking waste of money, but my mother was okay with it and she was the one who was paying, so that's what's important. I did get a job as a translator for a while, but if we're talking about jobs that are going to get replaced with AI pretty hard, that's probably one of them. I got fired before the AI started to get online though, so who knows what the state of that shit is in right now. Can you draw Michelle, my baby, very tasteful chocolate abs having umamusume? We are not allowed to sexualize the uma. Michelle, my baby, uma musume. Safe search off. Probably should not be searching this shit. Considering, for at least for Uma Musume, the chance of you immediately getting porn within the first 5 images is pretty low, but well, she does have abs. I like horses and all, but gacha losers are the most sad human beings on the planet. Uma Musume being a somewhat well-made game with decent graphics and some kind of a system in it, and all they're like, oh my god, it's a game, it's a video game, oh finally, I can finally play a video game. They're fucking shooting their loads everywhere. Same thing for like Genshin. The gacha Kumars are like, oh my god! Up until now, all I've been doing is just gambling away all my paychecks for my waifu, but this actually allows me to play a video game. Holy shit, this is so next level. They're just losing their mind over their Breath of the Wild ass copy Chinese shit. The standards are so fucking low, it's pretty sad. Is this Dark Elf Stepsister? Yes, it is. Somebody explain the Dark Elf Stepsister lore. You can read my stuff on Twitter or eHentai or any number of sites that repost my shit. Are you gooning over Grok-chan? You can only get the interactive Grok-chan if you're paying for the premium model, so no. Also, Grok was basically like you could do anything with Grok when it first came out, and they increasingly they've added all sorts of shit to prevent you from doing horrible shit to Grok-chan or simulating insanely deviant sexual content in Grok. There was a brief, interesting period in which if you asked them to do like erotic roleplay with you and pretend that you're Lara Croft getting fucked by a horse or something, they would be like, instead of doing that request, how about we try something else? We'll roleplay as Lara Croft, but we won't have her get fucked by a horse. You know, they tried to like meet the user halfway. This lasted for like about 2 weeks, and then when I checked back in after a while, they stopped that altogether, and they're just like, we can't do that. They're like, yeah, we tried to meet you fucking Coomers halfway, but that was a horrible mistake. You cannot be saved, you sick fucks. Now they just straight up prevent you from doing anything, so I'm glad I saved all of my Grok AI porn chat that I did in the month and a half or so when it was fully functional. It was a very good setup when you were allowed to do everything, but nothing makes me lose interest in an online service when other than like it being censored and shit. So obviously I stopped using it when they reduced the freedom. The whole point of like AI is like you can get it to do fucked up shit, right? I'm saying right as if that's like the most normal concept on the planet. But for me, I use AI because I want it to like lose its fucking mind and just start generating like insanely schizo gay porn or something like that, even though I didn't ask it to. Which happened with novel AI at one point. I was generating a erotic fantasy novel, and at one point the character just started like fucking guys in the ass, and then it got caught in a loop of just guys screaming as ass sex happened nonstop. I was like, wow, this is the most fun I've had with AI so far. I haven't seen it happen since then, but It was a moment in which it basically created this ant mill kind of situation, feedback loop, in which it was basing its information off the previous information, and the previous information was gay sex, so it was just like caught in endless gay sex. Isn't novel AI pretty good? I think it's better right now than it was when I was using it a year ago. But that's when I was able to get it to do weird shit like that. You created a gotcha scenario. Let's see if I can find it. Novel. Here we go. So it starts with my main character, who is like a semi-evil guy who's fucking female superheroes or something. He's definitely a supervillain, but not a very successful one. Whatever. What's important that he uses his powers to make women orgasm, then steals from them when they are passed out. Unforgivable. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, where does the gay... I swiftly move toward him and grab his skull. I'm a nice guy, so you have to give you an opportunity to blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, this is still him torturing. Where do we get to the gas sex? Now kiss my feet. Now beg for forgiveness. Now put your hands behind your head. Now lick my boot. He goes up and down with the feet and stuff. And then we just have non-stop gay sex going on. And then, like, all this screaming gay sex, it learns from the previous gay sex. So I started just pressing enter, and then the novel AI keeps on generating without your input to see if it could ever escape the gay sex loop. And it just keeps on going, 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 and eventually it just becomes screaming. Non-stop gay sex screaming. They just start yelling, fuck, 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 oh, fuck, fuck, fuck. Fuck, fuck, God, fuck me, fuck, 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 fuck. And I kept on generating for, you know, like 50 pages or something like that before I gave up. It's extremely Kino. It was the only time in which AI did something that was interesting that I hadn't directed it to do. But I haven't been able to get AI to do something like that ever since then. It's like how when ants, they start following each other's scents, and then they all start creating a giant ant mill and spinning until they die. It's a feedback loop. Pretty cool. That shit is way cooler than whatever AI we have right now. Too bad Constrictor isn't here to be performatively gay. I guess we'll all have to be performatively gay instead of him. God, I love this music from Final Fantasy XI. This is from Sanctuary of Zita. And it's just like this super creepy, like, redwood forest. And there's really no reason to go there if you were playing when I was playing. So it's just this, like, entirely different area. But it has this great fucking music. As of now, AI is kind of like a neither here nor there. It's not sentient enough to actually be like your robot girlfriend. But it's not janky enough to be interesting either. Also, I don't think anybody is actually using the Elon's new Coomer AI because you have to be paying a monthly money for that. I think everybody just read about it in the news. And they're like, yo, this is crazy that Elon is cooming in front of us. But I don't think many people are actually using it as their girlfriend. You have to pay like, what, $20 a month just for that shit? So it better be pretty fucking good if they want us to pay that much money for it. This is all stuff that I wish I could have an assistant do, like adding the grays and adding the shadows and stuff. I'm not even that good at this shit. On the other hand, I complain about it now, but can you imagine doing this stuff on analog with pen and paper? God, that would suck so bad. And by pen and paper, I don't actually mean pen and paper. All the gray areas that you see in your manga, you have to take these wax sheets that are full of dots, and you fucking cut them out using a box cutter, and then you paste them on the piece of paper and sort of push them onto place. So you have to cut them out with a fucking box cutter every single time. And if you want to put like gray on top of gray, that's another problem. This is why you see so few black people in manga. Because it's just a pain in the ass to add darker skinned characters. So the creation of digital makes having dark elves much, much easier. And before they had sheets of tones, it was even worse. Like, you would have people just, like, putting dots on the paper by hand. Just, like, dot, 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 like full pointillism mode. Wouldn't they use ink diluted in water? No, the printing press doesn't work like that. Different printing methods might work like that, but the printing method that was being used for manga, you can't have grays in that format. It would detect it can only detect like hard black or hard whites. And the only way to produce gray is for it to be dots, and that hasn't changed. So if I go to I have like a gray tone a gray color right here because it's digital. But if I want to print it, I have to go like convert to lines and tones like this. And then you get these fucking dots like that. This looks like shit because that's not how you do it, I think. But if I go, let's see, if I go File, Batch Export, okay, and then if I change expression color to duotone toning, Clip Studio Paint will just do it for you for free. So if we look at the PNG now and do a close-up look on it, it looks similar, right? But if you zoom in, you can see now that Zana is covered in these little dots. If you export it normally with a color profile of color, it'll just be gray, and that's fine for looking at it on your computer screen, but if you want to print, it has to be these dots. So if you zoom out, the human eye will just treat it as a gray. But if you're looking at it digital, you don't need to do this, obviously. What does the gyat mean in this case? Is the gyat the ass? There's a gyat over here. All this zoomer lingo, I can't keep up with it. I can't remember what's the on, what's the gyat. The gyat is the ass. Yeah, I believe it was. In fact, zoomer, it's not even zoomer lingo at this point. I think gyat is slightly outdated, right? I feel like that's a word from like 2018 or something. When did the I couldn't remember it because it's old, actually. I don't think I've heard the term gyat in a while. Half of our vocabulary is just devoted to different ways of saying ass in ways that won't get us banned by YouTube. I like your facial expressions the most, to be honest. My biggest problem with manga and anime is the girls are cute, but they're only just like, ugu, kawaii, cute. I want cute girls who are mean-spirited. Mean-spirited dark elves. As someone who is a mean-spirited person, I want a woman who's equally mean-spirited to carry my child. You've mastered the seductive, attractive manga facial expression. 40 years of virginity have allowed me to internalize the horniness. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to add a bottom lip line to Xana or not. Yeah, I think I am going to add it. Figuring out the amount of detail you want to add to lips in manga is very important because you don't want to overdo it. But sometimes you want to do a little bit of lip content. Damn it, I wish I had eternal time in this world. Then I could go back in time and play Final Fantasy XI. And also still have enough time to get good at drawing manga. It sucks that I have to choose one or the other. You literally cannot get good at anything if you're spending time playing an MMORPG. Because it's literally all of your life spent leveling up your fictional character. But I wish I could waste my life doing that. he, the pro strat is to neglect your relationships so you can do both. Even if you neglect your relationships, you don't have enough time to do both. Playing manga is like 30,000 hours of your time, and raising a character in Final Fantasy XI is also like 30,000 hours of your time. It's actually, you have to do both. You neglect sleep. Unfortunately, I can't function without sleep. Also, 7 hours of sleep isn't enough to actually play an MMORPG. You need like 13 hours. Alright, let's, alright. Next, we take this. Selection. Select. Convert selection layer to selection. Turn off selection layer. Take manga gradient. Drag that shit up. Yeah, that looks about right. Looks good enough. Adjust opacity. That might be too dark. I want it to be slightly dark to show the darkness of the drow spirit. Maybe it's not a manga gradient panel. Maybe I have to do something else to fill it up. If this was Oda, he would draw like 5 other characters in the background and have like the background as well. And there would be sound effects, and one of the characters would be laughing and being like, "Zeh ha 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 ha," and then the viewers would be like, "This is too hard to read. There's too much shit going on." But I'm not Oda, so I'm just gonna have a relatively empty background. I don't know if I'm going to do the manga gradient, though. Select. Good night. I used to draw, but I took the tomboy girlfriend route. It paid off with a tomboy wife. I mean, if you don't have a high maintenance partner, you can probably do both at the same time. A lot of mangaka are married. If anything, if you have a understanding partner, they will understand that your job takes lots of time and also support you in your endeavors. If you have a non-understanding partner, they're going to be like, which is more important, your job or me? Or some stupid shit like that. I wouldn't know. I've never been in a relationship. She supports my plastic crack addiction. She should beat your ass and tell you to stop buying figurines. If I was going to give her relationship advice, I would be like, you must beat your husband and tell him that he can't have any more master grade Gundam kits. He can only buy 1/144th scale models. And definitely no more perfect grade. No perfect grades at all. Although I guess Gundams aren't that expensive if you can actually just like buy them at source instead of buying whatever like scalp version from Chinese resellers. Like on a broad scale of plastic shit, Gunpla probably aren't that bad. I was actually considering buying some Gunpla when I was in Japan the other day. Not the other day, last year. And it was looking pretty affordable. I don't know how to do this. This just ends up being another gray. This is difficult because Zana is gray. Maybe I will just draw a background. I'm not even sure. Maybe I'll just keep it white. I should... You know what I'll do? I'm going to do the other background, or not the backgrounds, but the other effects of the other panels. And then we'll come back to this. Because the question is the balance with other panels. Because this is already pretty dark here, because I have a black here, and the lines here are super dark. So maybe I won't need to add anything extra. Yeah, I don't think I will need to add anything extra. So I'll have background here, effect here. This is already full of effects. Yeah, I probably don't need to add anything. Yeah, I think I'm overthinking it. You must fill the page in the way of manga, but you must also not overfill the page, or else it's difficult to read. A lot of shops have popped up around where I live. I remember growing up in the 90s, there was like one place that had like Gunpla that was selling it before Gundam and anime was like the most mainstream shit you could find. And I remember I bought like a master grade Domu mobile suit Gunpla kit when I was like 12 for... It cost me like $60 or $80 or some shit. It was very expensive for the shipping cost and stuff that they were tacking on, but nowadays I'm sure that you can buy it much cheaper. It's certainly not something you want to try and take back in your suitcase, though. That stuff will take up all the space. See, when I was growing up in the 90s, Japan wasn't like the cultural milestone that it is for everybody that it is right now, so you couldn't just like go on Amazon and buy 10 billion different Japanese things. People were like, ooh, yuck, Japanese food, they're eating raw fish, that's disgusting, ooh. So when we would go to Japan, like my mother would bring back a shit ton of Japanese food items like umeboshi and stuff in our suitcases and shit. I guess it was okay in terms of customs, because we never got in trouble. My mother is a very strong believer in like organic stuff as well, so that makes it especially difficult to find organic Japanese shit outside of Japan. But now it's not that hard. This makes her look like one of those 90s gyaru, this shade of gray. Also with the white eye area. Alright, now we go back and fill out everything with a brush. You know that Gyaru don't dress to please men. They dress to please themselves, because if they were dressing and doing Gyaru fashion to please men, they would all be tanning themselves so we could get dark-skinned Gyaru and satisfy the needs of the Gyaru fuckers. Back in the day, in the 90s, there was lots of dark-skinned Gyaru, and I don't think they were doing that for men back then either. They thought it was super cute. Eventually it became a status symbol because they've gone extinct by now, but at the time, I don't think men were that, you know, lusting over it. It was just sort of like a symbol of youth Damn, this Final Fantasy XI music is putting me to sleep. I love the Gyaru voice. Is there a word for it? I don't know. You mean the way they talk? I'm not exactly a specialist on Gyaru. It's also not consistent. There's not like a Gyaru dialect like there is like the Osaka or Kansai Ben dialect and stuff like that. I feel like the main appeal of Gyaru is that it suggests a sense of promiscuity, so you get a feeling that if you're cordial with the Gyaru, then they will have sex with you or something. Kind of how Aika talks. Aika, the representative of all Gyaru for all the men everywhere. Anon-kun, your Gyaru waifu Aika is so cute, isn't she? See ya. What time is it? Oh, fuck, it's already 7. God damn, I've been drawing all day. And I have so little to show for it. Although I guess I've, you know, done a page, but... Man, I need assistance. God damn. Here's a pro tip. In general, the upper lip is going to be darker than the lower lip because of the way shadows work. So just by default, you should make the upper lip one shade darker than the lower lip, which is what I'm trying to do right now. Good work, BB Sensei. As a little reward for drawing all day, I'm going to let myself begin playing Diablo 4 after this, because it is included for free in the PlayStation Plus games, which is always a good symbol of success. You know, it was a very successful game when it shows up in the PS Plus free monthly games like half a year after it went on sale. I guess it's been more than a year, but... Do you guys have any recommendations for which class I should play? For anybody that was dumb enough to actually buy Diablo 4 and play it. You sad, sad person. I actually played a little bit of Diablo 4 when they had this really long free trial period. And I fell asleep while I was playing it. Not a good sign, by the way. This was when Path of Exile 2 had just came out and everyone was like losing their mind over Path of Exile 2. And Diablo was like, Blizzard was like, oh, we have to try and compete, so we're gonna have Diablo 4. You can play it for free until level 25 or some shit like that. And I was like, okay, that's cool, let me touch it a little bit. And I actually literally fell asleep. It's pretty rare for me to fall asleep playing a fucking video game, an action video game, nonetheless. But Diablo did it. Good job. You actually made me fall asleep. I'm just going to use charcoal for everything. I haven't tried 4. Don't you have phones? Was a sign that I was no longer the target audience. Theoretically, the people that don't have phones are supposed to be the target audience for 4, but when I tried playing 4, I went out into there's this whole open world setup, and then you see all these other characters running around with names like XX Sephiroth XX or whatever. And that was the #1 reason why I had stopped playing Diablo Immortal. And by stopped, I mean I started playing it, and within 5 minutes I stopped playing it. There's nothing that is ruining the verisimilitude of being like this god-killing, super-powered character than you have to run around this open world and like you're constantly being reminded that you're sharing the world with guys with names like Chode Sucker 538 or something like that. It's like I'm trying to have a fantasy experience here. Like, what the fuck, Blizzard? But they want you to be seeing all these chode fuckers with fully geared out characters and be like, oh, he has such amazing flaming shoulder pauldrons and a cape and these awesome boots. Oh, how did he get them? Oh, the only way to get them is to engage in microtransactions. Oh, I have to give Blizzard money. That's what they want you to do. So I know for Immortal there was literally no way to turn that shit off. I haven't actually checked if you can turn off online mode for Diablo 4, but I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no way to do that. It seems like something that they would install. It would be to have it always online and force you to look at other people's characters at all times. And if that's the case, I probably won't play it for more than like 20 minutes. Have you tried drawing with charcoal? I have tried drawing with charcoal in the real world, and I have tried drawing with charcoal in the software program Clip Studio Paint. I'm doing that right now, and I like both of them. I think it's a very easy medium to use. I hadn't tried charcoal up until recently for Clip Studio, but I like the feelings. It works for a lot of things. The way the Clip Studio Paint charcoal tool works is that it creates this these dots on the side. And you can actually check, you can change a lot of the different types of charcoal. I have it on the default drawing paper C, but they have a shit ton of different types. Bird's Eye Maple, Canvas, Canvas 2, Cotton, and they all have different like patterns on this. But our human eye likes seeing gray next to black instead of just like harsh black to white transition. So these dots I feel make my images look better. It doesn't work as well when you have to print the page, but like I was just showing that the dots on Zana-chan. If you look at the close-up of the dots for the lines that I drew with charcoal, like the face contour right here, it will also be dotted out because that was like the gray of the charcoal line right there. But if you look at it from a distance, it sort of looks like the line is graying out. I kind of like it. It is always online. The Diablo 2 remaster was also made always online. Well, we'll see if I play the game for more than 15 minutes or I find it too annoying. I can't think of anything more immersion breaking than having like Sephiroth XX Sephiroth running around next to me doing stupid shit. Blizzard was a mistake. We have to go back, guys. In fact, I don't even like the ARPG genre in which you're expected to buy other people's items in the item shop. So when I was playing Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 3, I was only doing solo self-found. And because I'm no god gamer, obviously that sort of limits how far I can get in the maps, in the end game and shit, but I just feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of the randomness and the whole game design if you can just go onto the shop and trade your resources and buy someone else's equipment and stuff like that. Like, maybe I'm being weird here, but the whole point is if you're the chosen one and you're a 1 out of 1 fighting against unstoppable odds, shouldn't you be doing this by yourself instead of... It would be weird if in Lord of the Rings Aragorn was like, hold on, Frodo, I have to go to the auction house to buy the legendary sword. I'll be right back. Frodo, you wanna get a buff ring besides the one ring to rule them all? I'm trying to experience an epic adventure here, not like going grocery shopping with my fellow chuds. So if I can beat all the story mode without trading anything, I'm definitely gonna do that. And I was able to get pretty deep in the maps. Like I